When you imagine a god of war, you might think of a brutal berserker like Ares. When you imagine a sun god, you might think of a radiant king like Ra. But the Aztecs of ancient Mexico had a god who was both. And his origin story is one of the most bizarre and violent in all of mythology. His name is Huitzilopochtli, the hummingbird on the left. He was not born in a palace, but on a battlefield. He was not born as an infant, but as a fully armed warrior. And his first act upon entering the world was not a cry, but the brutal murder of his own sister and 400 of his brothers. Today, we investigate the strange conception, the violent birth, and the cosmic purpose of the supreme god of the Aztec Empire. A deity whose thirst for blood was believed to keep the entire universe from collapsing into darkness. Our story begins not with a god, but with a goddess, the primordial Earth Mother, Coatlicue, she of the serpent's skirt. She was an ancient and fearsome deity. Her very form, a paradox of creation and destruction. Wearing a skirt of writhing snakes and a necklace of human hearts and hands. One day, as she was dutifully sweeping her temple on the sacred Serpent Mountain, Coatpeck, a mysterious object floated down from the heavens. It was not a seed or a star, but a beautiful ball of fine hummingbird feathers. Intrigued by its beauty, Coatlicue tucked the ball of feathers into her waistband. When she finished her work and looked for the feathers, they were gone. And at that moment, she realized she had miraculously become pregnant. This was no ordinary conception. It was a fatherless, divine impregnation. A mysterious event that would soon enrage her older children and set the stage for a cosmic civil war. The seed of the sun god was not planted by another god, but delivered from the heavens in the gentlest of forms. Coatlicue's existing children were horrified by their mother's mysterious pregnancy. They saw it not as a miracle, but as a profound dishonor to their family. The conspiracy to murder their own mother was led by her eldest daughter, the powerful moon goddess Huitzilopochtli. Consumed by rage and shame, she rallied her 400 brothers, the Sensun Huitzilopochtli, who were the gods of the southern stars. She convinced them that their mother must be killed to cleanse their family's honor. This was not just a family dispute. It was a political power grab. Huitzilopochtli, as the moon, saw this new, unborn son as a direct threat to her own reign over the night sky. The 400 star gods, armed for war, followed their sister's lead. They ascended Serpent Mountain, their goal clear: to commit matricide and destroy the unborn child that threatened their place in the cosmos. The forces of the night had declared war on a child of light that had not yet even been born. As Huitzilopochtli and her brothers stormed the peak of Serpent Mountain, Coatlicue was terrified. At the exact moment the attackers arrived, a miracle of terrifying violence occurred. Huitzilopochtli sprang directly from his mother's womb. He was not a helpless infant. He was born fully grown, fully armed, and painted for war. He wore a helmet of hummingbird feathers, carried a turquoise shield, and in his hand he wielded his ultimate weapon, the Xucotl, the serpent of fire, a bolt of pure sunlight and destructive energy. He was born not with a cry, but with a battle roar. His birth was the first act of war, a divine champion emerging at the precise moment his mother was about to be executed. The battlefield was his cradle, and his first sight was the faces of his siblings, who had come to murder him. The newborn god's first act was one of swift, brutal, and cosmic justice. With a single, mighty throw, he hurled his fire serpent, the Xucotl, at his sister, the moon goddess Huitzilopochtli. The fiery weapon struck her with such force that it decapitated her and dismembered her body into countless pieces. He then grabbed her severed head and threw it high into the sky, where it became the moon. He kicked her shattered body down the slope of Serpent Mountain, an act reenacted at the base of Aztec pyramids, where the bodies of sacrificial victims were rolled down. His vengeance was not complete. Huitzilopochtli then turned on his 400 star god brothers. He hunted them relentlessly down the mountainside, slaughtering them without mercy. Only a few managed to escape and scatter to the far corners of the sky, where they remain as the faint, distant stars. The battle was over. The sun had risen, and in doing so, had slaughtered and scattered the moon and the stars. The story is told, and it is the foundational myth of the Aztec Empire. This cosmic battle was not a one-time event. It reenacts itself every single day. The sunrise is Huitzilopochtli, the victorious sun, rising from the earth womb of his mother. The moon and the stars are his defeated siblings, driven from the sky by his fiery power. But this eternal war required fuel. The Aztec belief was that Huitzilopochtli, born into battle, was weakened every night and needed nourishment to have the strength to rise again and defeat the forces of darkness. That nourishment was adolechinoli, water and burnt things, meaning blood and human hearts. Human sacrifice, therefore, was not an act of simple cruelty in their eyes. It was a sacred, cosmic duty to repay the gods for their own sacrifice, to feed their patron god the energy he needed to win his daily war and keep the universe alive. It is a brutal, terrifying, but powerfully logical worldview. A story that placed the Aztec people at the center of a cosmic war for the very survival of the sun.